What's up everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Emlyn Jade and I am currently training for my second Ironman 70.3, which is going to be happening later this year in July in Oregon. I had the best experience in my first one, so I decided to sign up for another, and I'm super stoked to be training for it again. So in this video, I will be doing a little bit of a recap of my past week of workouts, what I've been doing and how it's been going. Now, I just started my Ironman training and it hasn't really fully transitioned into triathlon training just yet because I'm still training for High Rocks, which is actually coming up in a little bit. So the bulk of the training hasn't really been solely swim, bike, run. There's quite a bit of focus on running as well as lifting. And if you saw my last video, you know that I have been struggling with some bad habits when it comes to training, and so I've been working really hard to try and improve that. And one of those habits include, pushing around my workouts and just playing around with my training plan overall, which led to, my typical Sunday long run got pushed to the next week, aka the following Monday, which doesn't typically happen, but I decided to delay it because I didn't feel like doing it. And I believe I was doing a High Rocks workout before that, so my body was feeling quite sore. And it got to the point where I pushed that long run during my lunch break, which was in between work meetings, and it just did not end up going really well. There's so many lessons learned at this run. One, body's not ready because I worked it very hard during that High Rock simulation a couple days ago. My body needed more rest. Two, my mindset wasn't ready because I feel like every time I fit in a run, especially like a quality workout in between meetings in the middle of the workday, my mind is never ready for it because I'm still in this like work mode. So I either should have waited until I was done work or ran earlier this morning. And then also too, didn't fuel up for this run. It is considered a long run and an intense long run at that. I mean, it was a progression run. I had my breakfast, but it wasn't heavy enough on the carbs. I had like one piece of sourdough and then half a banana. So clearly that wouldn't have lasted, especially during this kind of run that had high intensity towards the end. Like if it was a 10K easy run, sure, I probably could have pulled it off, but rookie mistake, man. Like I need to stop it because I've been doing the sport for so long, yet here I am being so lazy, like just stupid mistakes. And it's like times like this, I like regret making bad decisions because like I know better. So because of that run, I told myself, you know what, you gotta pick up the slack. You need to be a little bit more diligent when it comes to your training habits and all that stuff, which led to me setting up my trainer later that night in hopes that I would fit in a short ride before my work day. Now, I managed to fit it in. However, let's just say that morning ride did not start out too well. My downstairs neighbor is gonna hate me. So I am attempting to do a morning ride before work because I am trying to become a better morning person, and I didn't have the greatest sleep. Even Garmin says that my training load has not been the most optimal. So I'm just gonna fit in like a 30-minute recovery ride just to kind of flush out the legs from yesterday's run. Hopefully it's not too loud. I do have like a mat. I have two mats, one yoga mat and then rubber mat and then a carpet underneath, like a rug. So hopefully it isn't too loud. If I get a complaint, well, me. So I'm gonna try and fit it in now and then get ready for work. So despite that rough start, I did manage to fit in a recovery ride, which I'm very happy about because honestly, that is a rare moment. If you've been following me for some time, you know that I struggle with morning workouts. So to wake up early and be able to do that, like I am so proud of myself for doing that. So overall, I kept that ride fairly light, which was a good call because I started to feel a little bit of a niggle on my right knee. And I think it was because of all that lifting and running in prep for High Rocks and the simulation that I did a couple days prior to that. I think it was really starting to catch up, which leads to my next point of trying to stay on top of the good habits is mobility. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really been on top of that. So I think that's another thing I need to prioritize. And I feel like a broken record when I'm saying this because I feel like in other videos I've been saying this and I just haven't. I don't know what it is. I just can't. Kian is really good at staying on top of his like warm up and cool down stretches before and after his runs. I feel like I just need to get it in right away. Don't think about it. And honestly, all it takes is just like a quick 3 to 5 minutes and then that's it. So I'm trying to get better at it. There are some days where I'm like pretty on top of it and then other days I'm not. So just gotta stay consistent and hopefully I can keep those niggles at bay. So Wednesday was a double session day where I started off with a tempo run and again, quads were still feeling a little bit sore. To this day, I haven't had a rest day yet, but I did manage to get through the run and I was able to stick within my target paces. And I think what did help despite, not having a rest day just yet was the fact that I had good sleep. I managed to sleep early. The sleep was uninterrupted. I managed to get up at a decent hour. And I think what also helped is I actually fueled enough for this run. And then later that evening, I decided to join Kian at the gym where he did his strength workout, but I fit in a 30-minute recovery ride on the bike erg. Again, just to flush out the legs, nothing too strenuous. It was a little bit of like a shakeout ride. So knowing that I'm doing a lot already, I was like, you know what, don't push it just yet on the bike. I'm just trying to keep it easy and remind myself how to use the bike again and just slowly and incrementally increase my aerobic capacity over time. Happy Friday. So I am just about to get ready for my interval run, which is actually a long one. I believe it's around 9 kilometers and I am actually going to try out some potential race shoes. I actually tried this out for my marathon, but I found that like this had such an aggressive roll that I was always on my toes, and since my calves aren't the strongest, I was like, I don't think this is a good idea to wear during the marathon, especially for that long of a distance. So I am going to test it out during today's run, see how my legs are, and I may potentially wear this during my 5K time trial, which is next week. So I'm hoping these work out because they're so nice and it'd be really bad if they went to waste. So for today's interval run, I have like 600s into 200s. So I've got like 6 times 600 at like a 4:05 pace, which is kind of aggressive for me. And then straight into like 7 times 200s at like 350 pace. So I'm really trying to see where my 5K effort is at right now. So that way next week I can really give myself a test to see where my fitness is at from a 5K perspective, which is actually pretty good because I do have the High Rocks event the following week. So it'll give me a good gauge of where I'm at. So I'm gonna put my shoes on, do my warm up, and let's hope I don't die. So despite this interval run being really hard, I felt really strong. And I think what helped was the amount of food that I was eating. I realized before this week, I probably wasn't eating enough food, especially with the number of workouts that I'm doing day to day. Like fuel is so important. So I really have to stay on top of that, especially because it does help with recovery as well. So that's something I need to be aware of, stay on top of moving forward. I also did have a full rest day, so that helped my body fully recover. And then the shoes that I tried on felt really good. I think with the aggressive roll, I actually felt like I was flying. So that might be my go-to shoe for shorter distance races. And then thankfully there was no knee pain because I did some mobility during my rest day. I think that helped a lot. And then later that evening, he and I went to the gym. He did some strength and then I also did some strength with my main lift being the deadlifts. And then I finished off with a bunch of accessory work such as banded exercises and single leg stuff. So when the weekend came around, The bad habits showed up again. Both Saturday and Sunday were easy runs. So Saturday was a 6K easy run, and then Sunday was my long run with 12K at all easy pace. But both mornings I woke up so late because I slept late. So I wasn't feeling the greatest when I woke up. I was feeling quite groggy going into these runs, but thankfully it was dry and it was sunny. So it was just embracing the fact that the weather was holding up really well. And since they were easy runs, you know, I just kept my pace as easy as possible. It was on the slower end, and I tried to keep my heart rate as low as possible as well. Again, just focusing on increasing my aerobic capacity because I've got so much speed work and lifting that I gotta balance the anaerobic and the aerobic. And that wraps up this week of workouts. You'll notice there still hasn't been any swimming, but I'm really hoping I get to the pool very soon. I think I'm just trying to figure out the right system that helps me get out of the house and go to the pool. So TBD on that one. But on the plus side, I did manage to fit in not just one, but 2 rides. So I'm pretty stoked about that. And you know, again, knowing that I still have a Hyrox competition coming up, that's still kind of my main focus. So I'm trying to be mindful of what I'm fitting into my training schedule. So priority is definitely still running and lifting. But once Hyrox is over, I promise there will be a lot more triathlon material. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to thumbs up. And with that, I'll see you in a later video. Bye.